What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bacon Bits podcast, and really excited because we have our first guest on the podcast. You may remember him from our channel. It is YoGimmeRice. Welcome
What's
in,
up?
welcome in. I like your headphones. What do you think of our studio?
It is really nice. This thing is really cool. I
Nice,
love the
nice,
room. I love the
nice.
back panel. It's cool.
Dude,
It's
we
super
love
cool.
that
Glad
you.
to have you here.
Yeah, we love that you're here. And for the audience, in case you guys forgot, I'm a ton of bacon. Here we have 8-Bit Kevin.
Hey, what's up?
And we hope you guys are staying safe out there. And this podcast is still a thing. We're still happy to still be recording. We got more ideas on the way, and hopefully you can fit more guests in here in the future. But we decided to come together because this is going to be an episode about Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z, and everything it relates to. Because we noticed that it's as old as this series is, it's still pretty active. If you guys haven't
Yeah.
noticed. And
Yeah,
I'm
and
really excited
we'll
to talk
probably
about it.
we'll probably talk mostly on Super since it's the most recent entry to the series, and I guess a warning for y'all that potentially spoilers for the anime, the movie, and the manga if you're paying attention to any of those and you're not caught up. So if you aren't, you might want to skip on this until a little bit later.
I hardly think that like people go like, "Oh no, Dragon Ball! I'm spoiled on Dragon Ball Super. I wonder what happened. Did he get stronger? Oh no!" Sorry, obviously being
Well,
sarcastic about all this.
Well, yeah, I guess the guys we've been we're not, I wouldn't say we hate Dragon Ball Super, but we do have opinions on it, and as you know, our generation grew up on it through Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, and everyone has opinions on Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball Super, it did things that we may or may not be happy about, and we want to go in on that. Main thing being what Dragon Ball Super did to Goku. Rice, do you have any opening comments?
Uh, I mean, I think in a nutshell, it's passable. Let's just throw it
It's
out there.
passable.
It's passable. It's
The series or Goku?
Oh, now those are two different things. The series, it is what it is. But as a huge Goku fan, I mean, I'm gonna come out and say it. I'm not very happy with it at all. Like, to be very honest.
Well, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, so it was a kind of a huge turnoff for me as a Dragon Ball fan in general. So seeing Goku to where he is now, it's definitely a different representation now.
What's he supposed to represent other than the Saiyan race?
Well,
because I talked with this with my brother, and he's in agreement. Well, he kind of like overruled me because I was just like, yeah, dude, Goku right now, he's an idiot. Look at the guy, man. He's just like a buffoon that just wants to fight everything. And he's like, well, that's the curse of the Saiyan race.
right.
Isn't the Saiyan race a bunch of warriors? And that's Goku. Like, that's what he's cursed to be. He's just gonna be someone who doesn't have the highest intelligence that just
I
wants
mean,
to fight.
he's not wrong, but I mean, you can still be
Competent.
intelligent and be a Saiyan, and you're like competent. Like
Yeah.
Vegeta's pretty competent by
Exactly.
comparison.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
lets him
Vegeta wants to fight, but at least he isn't a complete idiot like Goku. Goku is really dumb.
It's
He got really, really dumb.
what you're saying
Yeah.
is that Vegeta fights for his friends.
I mean, you're not really wrong there. I mean, I wanna. So for me, Goku. I feel like for a lot of people, Goku was their hero growing up, or they at least saw him as a hero, whether or not you
Right.
thought he was your hero. But now he's not necessarily a hero to me. He's more of just this guy that wants to keep fighting, strong enemies for the sake of being strong.
Right.
I mean, this is also made apparent in the manga where he literally just says he wants to strong fight people. But at least Vegeta, for me, going through Z, I didn't really see too much with him. But through Super, he became a better character in my opinion. In my eyes, he's actually one of my favorite characters in Super now, or if not my favorite, because of how much he's developed and what they've done for him in comparison to Goku.
Right. I see what you're saying. I mean, how do I put this? I feel like there are three types of Dragon Ball fans. There are the ones who love sub, there are ones who love dub, there are the ones who love the manga. And obviously these are three different fan bases. They're not the same. They're in fact they are experiencing Dragon Ball at through three different mediums, basically, right? I mean, not really mediums, but three different ways. So obviously you're going to be more influenced by the one that you grew up with. So obviously, what is it? Manga readers are not going to love, how the anime turns out, or vice versa. The anime people who watch the anime are not going to like how, I guess, the manga turns out, because it's a different experience. I've growing up, I always felt like there was always a huge debate between subbed and dubbed. You always get those two types of people. Oh, you watch it dubbed? What is your problem? But then people from the West are like, oh, you watch it sub? What the heck? And I kind of understand from their perspectives. And I will definitely do say I am more drawn to Dragon Ball Z dubbed, because in the West, that was what I was exposed to. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying same. That's a huge... that is a huge factor for everybody, just how they were exposed to it. So of course, everyone's going to feel different about the series as a whole. That's why I'm trying to I'm trying to talk about this as objectively as possible. I'm just trying to have, some empathy from every side. I just want
to hear your opinion on the matter.
Right. Well, but before I go in, I want Dragon Ball itself to be a franchise to pass on to my kids. That's all. That's
sure.
That's
a tough
really
thing to pass on. Honestly,
that's really it. Dragon Ball growing up was great storytelling. In the very beginning when Goku was a kid, it
was a journey.
It was a journey. You know what I'm saying? And what was awesome about Dragon Ball, just Dragon Ball, when he was a kid, right, was the animation, or what is it? The cinematography and the way the story unfolded, it flowed beautifully. It wasn't all fighting. It wasn't all dialogue. There would be times when the camera would pan into viewing the awesome mountains of where Goku lived. Sometimes the camera would zoom out. How about this? For example, when Goku was like flying on the Nimbus in the sky, like that was a fantastic feeling when you were watching. You felt like you were flying with Goku in the clouds. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
And it's there's no dialogue. It's just Goku I'm going that way. Yeah, man, I'll go with you. And same goes for Z. I understand that Z is all about the fights, the really edgy animation, but there would be times when you would see you would see scenes where it wouldn't be even fist fighting. It would just be like random energy balls hitting mountains, and you'd see the details of the mountains just crumbling down like that. It gave perspective into size of like the battlefield. Like this is Z did a great job at placing the viewer in the front row seat, and being able to absorb just the grand scale of this fighting arena that is on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think DBS did a great job with that, in my opinion. It was just forced fighting, all just like,
I feel like,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel like with the series, because with Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, I'm sure Toriyama just kind of intended for that journey,
right?
And then when it moved on to Z, when Goku was older, he wanted to. To me, it seemed like he wanted to continue that journey, but then he kind of like had to introduce something else. So then now, instead of just being on Earth, they had to go to Namek and do all these other things, and more space travel got included. And then
Right.
with GT and Super and stuff, like, how do you beat that? Like, what else do you do? You know, you've already explored the space, you know, now you gotta explore other universes, and it just, the scale kept getting larger and larger.
Right.
So I see where you're getting with that.
I mean, that's cool. I get it, but it's like there's if you're trying to expand, take your time. Like I understand the arguments from people from the West of saying the animation was dookie, and I agree, the animation was dookie, and I understand that this was a very old claim I made when DBS was, you know, airing, but there shouldn't be an excuse with the animation being poor in a series that is as demanding as Dragon Ball itself. You know,
Hey, I mean, you're speaking to the choir, man. I love One Piece, and that's what it's doing.
Right, exactly. and it's like
yeah.
it's like I understand that you're on a weekly basis. I get it, but don't sacrifice your story. You know, it's like either ball out on the animation or ball out on the dialogue. You pick one. I felt like everything
Toriyama's had a long time to work on Super if they
Right.
really wanted him to develop a good story. And this is, I'm not even talking about just like week to week. I'm talking about like, you know, from when GT ended, because he didn't even supervise GT. So I guess we'll go back even further, like Z. Like, he had so much time to work on Super if that's what he really wanted. So,
right. But
I think
go ahead.
that's where the force, like where it feels forced, you know, where he kind of just, I feel like they kind of like said, hey, let's get more Dragon Ball. Can you
Right.
make more?
Yeah, and I'm sure that, you know, everyone knows that Dragon Ball was supposed to stop at the Frieza saga. You know, I get it. Like, that was, you know, everyone gets the memes of, you know, those are like the beautiful things about Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is just like all of those things that we can connect to as fans. Like, we cannot deny that, you know, it took 5 episodes to do this. Like, we, like, as Dragon Ball Z fans, you know, sub, dub, manga, whatever, we all felt that. You know what I'm saying? And those are the times that made Z so beautiful, and those are the underrated things that people overlook. You know, people always say it's like, oh, Dragon Ball Z, oh, you watch it dubbed, oh, you're that nostalgia, you just live for nostalgia. I'm like, no, I don't like it for nostalgia. I mean, yeah, that's a factor, but as I, you know, run through the film, because film don't lie, the how suspense builds through the series, it's undeniable that they thought
Right.
about that.
So
you
it's
know,
as
it's
if
like
if you were to get like Dragon Ball Z, and show it to someone who has never even encountered the series like ever,
right.
you'd probably put your money on saying that person would have a genuinely fun experience watching the
Right.
series.
You did not.
Because-
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we have a whole generation that grew up on it.
Exactly.
I mean, that speaks for itself.
Right,
Exactly.
right. And you know, I always like to think, feeling like the old man of like anime now, as we're getting to be honest.
Right.
It's as if that a lot of the new anime fans really don't appreciate what was released back then, kind of deal. Because I do agree how you said, like, there are times where it is pretty, like, you know, quiet, and there are times like you know, remember that one scene where one of my favorite relaxing scenes that I guess it's more the comedic element was the classic it was Goku and Gohan training on Super Saiyan, and then they
Right.
just fell asleep on the hill.
Oh,
And
heck yeah, dude.
and Krillin tosses a rock.
Oh,
And it
yeah,
hits him
I
right in
remember
the
that.
head. And he's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
you idiot! Why'd you throw a rock at me?"
Mhm.
And I just thought that was so funny. But the thing is, it's like the attention span back then for us was always like, "Oh, dude, I love every moment of this. Hey, look, they're having like fun interactions with each other." But then other fans would be like, "Oh gosh, this training arc's too long. I want to see the next fight." Or, "Oh, I need constant action." Like, you need to hook these kids from episode 1, and it's not about that in Dragon Ball. It's like the whole journey aspect is what's more important.
Right.
And
I definitely do
I-
agree with that.
So
Yeah.
you're saying that the pacing is different for Super in comparison to Z and
Right.
the original Dragon Ball series.
Right. And
I guess I could say that, but you can't really say that. Like I get what you guys are saying as a whole over the series, where that's an issue. I mean, I guess my big thing is that, like, if your main character has changed so much, it's gonna change the overall feel of the entire series. Like,
Yeah.
our
I agree.
focus is still Goku and the fighters, but Goku will always be the main character.
Right.
But our main character has changed drastically from Z. Like, I mean, he's always gonna be naive. He's always that naive, dumb kid, and I think that's apparent throughout the series, even outside of Super, you know. But
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Rice about this earlier, how I think Toriyama kind of ran the whole like Goku being dumb, naive, and whatnot, and like into the ditch. Like he steered straight into it and just went with it.
Well, yeah.
But
now he's not a leader to me. Like he doesn't feel like a leader.
oh no, totally not. I guess can I kind of talk about the manga and the anime experience as a whole for Super and what I see?
Yeah, go for it, dude.
So the anime and the manga, for those who watch and or read, they play out differently. So there are certain things that happen in the manga that the anime doesn't do, or there are certain things in the anime that the manga doesn't do. Some things the anime actually does better in comparison to the manga. Some things the manga does better in comparison to the anime. But I guess my point in talking about this is that they're both pretty consistent in how they, I guess, have the characters out there. So Goku is still an idiot, but Vegeta shines. And I mentioned this earlier in the podcast that Vegeta has really become a great character for me, and Goku kind of just fell off. Reading the manga, especially the current arc that's happening right now with Moro, Vegeta was just trending, I think, the other day, because of what he says in the latest chapter, what he does. So essentially, because Bacon, I don't think you're really familiar with what's going on in the manga.
I am not.
There's this character named Moro who's pretty much like he loves life energy, and he goes to different planets to take their life energy and whatnot. And so he's the next big threat for Earth because he goes towards Earth. And Goku and Vegeta have to go train, of course, like always, to defeat this new enemy. Goku goes to train to learn more about Ultra Instinct, but Vegeta does something that I didn't expect, and he goes to, I believe it's called Yard Rat, where Goku learned how to do instant transmission, and
Oh wow.
he learns how to control his spirit energy, because they're telling him that, his something within him is imbalanced and it's not allowing him to tap his full potential.
Really?
So they he trains the way that Goku's supposed to train, but he trains faster because Vegeta, through hard work and his talent, and he's kind of a prodigy, he learns this stuff faster. So he learns how to balance himself, allowing his output of power to become stronger. And they're like, hey, do you want to learn instant transmission? He goes, no, I don't want to learn that. That's Kakarot's thing, And so instead he learns a different technique that's a lot more difficult to learn. And I forgot the name, but essentially he can separate life energy from people. So say someone's fused, he can separate them.
Oh, what?
So, like,
get out,
you
dude.
know Piccolo,
That's
how
some
he's fused
badass
with Nail.
shit, dude.
He can separate Nail from Piccolo now.
What?
Like he has that power.
That is so cool.
And so, essentially, fighting Moro, whenever he punches him, because Moro absorbs life energy, he releases the life energy every time he hits Moro. And so Moro gets progressively weaker.
Oh, shit.
And so that's why Vegeta has become so much stronger. And then he's trying to get back to Earth, and he ends up learning instant transmission anyway, briefly, just to get back to Earth, because he senses Goku's energy. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because during this time,
major spoiler, by the
when
way,
he's fighting Moro, this is a spoiler. I told you guys.
I know, seriously.
I mean, I don't care, but go on.
But during this time, he like this whole arc.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up visiting the new Namek, or whatever the name is,
right.
Where the Namekians are now after they fled from Frieza and whatnot. Vegeta pretty much talked about how like he has a lot to make up for. He feels very remorseful for what he's done when he was under Frieza and whatnot. So you can see Vegeta's growth as a character through that. And later on, when he's fighting 1v1 against Moro, and displaying his newfound abilities and stuff, Piccolo mentions like, Vegeta has changed a lot. Vegeta has changed a lot as a character from when they first met him. He was a villain, and now he's trying to, make up for what he's done and become a stronger person. He's a protector of Earth now. He cares about things. Like throughout the series, Vegeta has shown that, he cares about his family. He cares about the Saiyan race. His Saiyan pride has become deeper for me. Like, it means a lot more than just saying, "Oh, I'm a prince of all Saiyans." There's so much more to it. And Goku essentially is like, "What? I just want to get stronger," which is a Goku response. But Vegeta as a character is so much deeper than that now. And I think Moro says something like, "You're gonna go to hell" or something in that sense. And Vegeta's like, "I already know I'm bound for hell, and when I get there, I'll see you there." Like, Vegeta doesn't care about that stuff. He doesn't care that he's gonna go to hell. He just wants to protect, his family, his, the Earth, his Saiyan race and whatnot. I don't know. He's just so much more compelling as a character. Like, my another big example is Vegeta during the Tournament of Power. So prior to the Tournament of Power, Bulma's pregnant, and he wasn't gonna join in until he found out that everything was on the line, and Whis helped Bulma give birth and stuff. So then he joins into the fight. Then he meets Cabba. Cabba is a Saiyan from Universe 6. Cabba doesn't know how to go Super Saiyan, and Vegeta is really excited that there are more Saiyans out there. During the fight, he goes Super Saiyan, and Cabba has no idea what that is. But Vegeta ends up teaching him, but not in the way that's like, okay, so you have to feel that tingle in your back. He didn't teach him like that. He taught him in a way that was like, he made him feel rage. He made him unlock it on his own without realizing it. And then after that, he just says like, if you guys lose, I'll revive your universe, and can you show me around your planet? Anytime Vegeta talks to any of the Saiyans, and if they're losing, if they're weak or something, he's like, "Don't you have any pride as a Saiyan?" And that pride comes from them being the last Saiyans in Universe 7. He wants to make sure that the world knows that they're still strong. There's just so much to it. Like, you have to read between the lines, and I hate when people talk about Vegeta as if his character is literally just bad guy turn good, and that's a disservice to his character development throughout the series.
Is he in this part of the manga, are they taking their time with this Vegeta development, or are they just blasting through it?
Throughout the arc it's meant like they kind of talk about it. They show why Vegeta, his intentions, and why he wants to be stronger. He wants to be stronger than Goku, but he doesn't want to be stronger than Goku and follow his path. He tries to be stronger than Goku through his own methods, and that's why
how he does
didn't
it,
want to
bro.
learn instant. Exactly, and that's why he didn't want to learn instant transmission. He wanted to learn a different skill that Goku didn't know, so that they could kind of branch off in different ways. Because Goku is going towards the Ultra Instinct route. Vegeta isn't.
Ooh, hey man, I'm just throwing it out there, Toriyama. You gotta give Vegeta a new hairstyle. Come on, Goku's got 3. He's got Super Saiyan 2 with the one bang. He's got Super. I get like Vegeta has his Super Saiyan 4 hair, but I guess it's not canon. But Vegeta needs a new hairstyle. Yeah. That what was it? The Ascended Blue form. What was it? Can you continue? Can you tell me? Remember the Tournament of Power? Vegeta's
no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I was hoping for a new hairstyle, but it was just like bigger hair and bigger pupils. What is that? Boo! Lame! Give him a new hairstyle. Yeah, yeah, I guess they darkened the color and made the aura different, but no, it's boo. It looks like what is it? Vegeta's eyes just look dilated. I was like, oh man. Hey, but I totally agree with you. It's like I'm really glad that they are finally, I guess, redeeming Vegeta, because let's admit, Vegeta has gone through so much shit, and I'm so glad.
He's never really like the focus,
right?
Because he's always in Goku's shadow,
right? So I really hope that when they animate this part of the manga, that they pay attention to the detail and try to enhance that feeling, because what you're feeling through the manga, it's like I hope that is enhanced through the anime, that people watching the anime will feel that along with you. I hope that the anime magnifies that. And that is
really
the goal of
that
every show. That's the goal of every anime, right? Is to magnify.
And I hope that they really like take their time with this, because in the manga, with all the other arcs, like the Tournament of Power, the Future arc and whatnot, they kind of just rushed through it. When I was reading it, like, that's why I feel like the anime kind of did certain arcs better, or like most of the early arcs better,
right.
Because I mean, it did come out in the anime first, but they took their time, they added content, there was a lot of character development, there were some characters that got a lot of highlights that didn't get highlights in the manga. The manga did it a lot better, but the manga right now is kind of taking its time with this Moro arc, and so I'm hoping that the anime can do the same,
yes.
or at least, you know, do a bit more with it.
That's why I'm like, take your
just
time.
To give you a taste, though. Give you a taste. You know how Tien gets like kind of like his own little mini arc in the anime for the Tournament of Power?
Yes, I remember that.
Dude, he gets totally shafted in the manga. They don't even do that mini arc, and him and Krillin are like the first two people to go out in the Tournament of Power, like pretty immediately.
Hey man, it's what the rule is: the more hair you have, the longer you last, right? Isn't that a common goal? Isn't a common thing?
Why do you think I'm growing out my beard?
I mean, Master Roshi lasted longer because he's got facial hair.
Oh yeah. Yep, he lasted longer.
Ooh, lasting longer with more hair.
But I'm really glad. Don't get me wrong. I hope, like I said, I mean, if I had my own like, you know, letter to write to Toei Animation or Toriyama, just like, hey man, take your time, dude. It's like no one's rushing you. There's already so much anime coming out. You don't have to rush this beautiful story that you're trying to create. You know, that's what
you're also talking to like the industry. I mean, that's just an industry thing. Like with One Punch Man season 2, everyone wanted that stuff to wait, but they're like, nope, we need to put that out now.
I mean, I speak for I'm gonna probably toot my own horn and say I speak for a lot of the Western fans who grew up on Z. And I hear their cries. I hear that it's like, you know, okay, how about this? Goku and Dragon Ball Z, they were a symbol for a lot of struggling people in the US. And to be able to see to be exposed to an anime like this, it is no doubt affected American culture in the way they, you know, in the way they live. It's definitely affected. It goes mine.
Back to like Goku was a hero.
Exactly. And it's just like the fact that Goku can like just, you know, land on a planet and just step out of the capsule spaceship and just, you know, smell the Namekian air and just look and just absorb the wind and just, you know, look to his left and Captain Ginyu's there, look to his right and Frieza's over there, just like, and like that look on his face, just figuring out a game plan, probably in like, you know, that segment right there probably took 4 or 5 minutes. There was nothing but Goku thinking.
Oh, like building that
exactly tension. There was no fighting. He would just look left, look right, and, you know, he's talking about like these great power levels and how, okay, I have a challenge ahead of me, but let's figure out a priority list. Oh my gosh, Gohan and Krillin are in trouble. I'm gonna go that way. You know, just like that stuff right there is just it's so what is it? It is so subtle. It is not the whole you know. It's not about fighting.
I definitely think Goku was more humble.
I mean, I get it. You know, it's just drive the story for me. Just, you know, just it can't be just all fights. I know a lot of people in the West. I know a lot of Dragon Ball fans love the fights, but a fight can't be great without context that surrounds the story, that creates that tension. It's just general storytelling rules. You know,
I mean, that's kind of how I felt about the Tournament of Power. Like, they had some really great moments, like when Ultra Instinct was first introduced and stuff,
right? And
when he did that rolling Kamehameha, like that was great. Mm-hmm. But the whole Tournament of Power itself was really dumb.
Yeah, no, you want to dive there?
I mean, that's why we're doing this.
You
pod,
okay,
right?
man? This is gonna be about to be a Dragon Ball Part 1, 2, 3 dive on this, dude.
Well, the thing. So some of the things I didn't like about that Tournament of Power was, of course, I'm trying to remember as far back as that, because I think that's like the last thing I watched was when like we're talking. This is Team Earth from Universe 7, right? And I'm under the assumption if you're a team and of kind of like, you know, these are your homies going in to hopefully save your world, you need to be in support of each other, you know? There was one part where Piccolo was up next to fight, right?
Right.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, and I'm just
man.
like, yo, dude, my boy Piccolo, man, I remember this.
My
dude, you
boy
know?
Bring
And
him,
then,
dude.
like,
Bring him back, dude.
And
Bring
then
him
when
back.
he goes in, he's like, "Hey, Goku, you think I got this guy?" And Goku's like, "Nah, you don't got a chance."
Man.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
When I watched
Goku
that,
got really cocky.
yeah,
They
and
need to
when I
bring
saw
back
that, I was
Piccolo. They need to give him a buff, bro. Seriously.
like, exactly. Like,
He still hasn't gotten a buff.
Ah, man, it's okay.
Right.
Vegeta's getting a buff. That's okay. I
Yeah.
will still be patient. I totally agree with you,
I mean-
Jason. Like when Piccolo stepped up, against what, Frost, right? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I don't,
Just
even,
like,
I don't
I
remember
was-
his opponent.
Yo,
It was Frost.
Because, like, you know, when you think about it, you know, what is it? I feel like people who watch Dragon Ball Z have a generally good idea of power scaling. So immediately going into DBS as a Z fan,
It went out of control.
oh yeah, I totally agree. You know, like you see Frost, right? You immediately think, okay, this guy is probably as strong as Z Frieza back when. So Piccolo is definitely stronger than this guy. And then
Right.
that happens, and I'm like, okay, interesting. And as the series progressed on, I would always talk to 8-Bit Kevin, just like, bro, I'm so confused. I'm so confused with this power
Like, who's
scaling.
strong? What
And then
is
8-Bit
this?
Kevin
Dude,
would be like,
Like
there
I
is
said,
no
Goku got cocky.
there is no power scaling in this show.
Yeah, and there's no ceiling either. There's just like no
Yeah.
like that's why it's
I mean-
hard for me to feel any type of like fear. Like, because back when like Dragon Ball Z and all those days, legitimately as a kid when I was watching, I legit didn't think that Goku was gonna win. I was like, this is not good, and,
Right.
and like, that kind of snowballed into like this. Like one of my favorite arcs is the Cell games. In my mind, I'm like, I don't think
good
I'm
arc.
like, I don't think I think Cell's gonna dominate. You know what I mean?
Right.
As much as I believe in Trunks and Vegeta and Goku, like there were just times I'm like, this isn't gonna work out great. You know, some of these characters already died and came back. I don't think it's gonna work this time. But now that tension's completely gone. I'm just like, he's gonna win. He may die, but he's not gonna die because apparently God is just gonna give him a mulligan. And another side note to that is like the Dragon Balls aren't even relevant anymore. When Beerus was just like, "Here's my wish for you, Shenron. Get away from me." And I'm like, really, we're gonna do
Oh
that?
yeah. We're diving way back.
Yeah. And so like the whole path of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and DBS now is kind of like, it's like nothing to me. Like nothing's at stake. Every time I like look at a certain video or something like that of Dragon Ball Super, I just think to myself, nothing's at stake. Regardless of how bad things look right now, we're either gonna win, come out of this.
Right.
There's no reason. There's nothing for me to believe in.
Oh,
You know, I'm not at the edge of my seat. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be fine.
Oh, guys, I have
You're gonna be-
I have a
yeah.
question for you. Okay, so here's a question with context. Growing up, did you ever look up, you know, before let's say before we've been exposed to all, you know, this amazing anime? Let's just go back like 10 years to when Dragon Ball Z was just at its, I want to say at its peak.
There's no way it was 10 years ago. I think
No,
it was
but,
a little-
I think the question I'm trying to ask is, would you place Dragon Ball Z's fight scenes into your top 10 fight scenes at
10
that
years
time?
Like
ago.
right now.
At that time, 10 years ago.
Huh.
Would you place any of the fights in your top 10 fight scenes? It's just a yes or no. Just, you know, there are probably 9 other fights that are in anime that you love. Just Dragon Ball Z is one of them.
I mean, well, there is one of the fights that would be in my top 10 would be Cell versus Trunks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
One of my favorite fights,
that's
by the
one that
way.
sticks out.
Or actually, Kevin, you go. What's your favorite fight scene in Dragon Ball Z?
I don't know if I necessarily have whole scenes, but more of moments.
Moments. Okay, let's go for it.
Because I like moments like Future Trunks versus Mecha Frieza, where he just, you know,
Oh, yeah.
takes him to town. I like when
Yeah, that's
obviously,
a-
you know,
ooh.
father son Kamehameha.
The-
You know,
yeah, the father son coming out is one of my favorites.
I like you know, when Goku first goes to Super Saiyan 3. Like to
Iconic,
me,
Kev.
moments matter more
Right.
than the fights themselves.
Exactly. And don't you want to feel that in DBS, bro?
Yeah, we don't feel
Exactly.
Yeah, and the only time I ever felt like that was during Ultra Instinct.
Right. And that took a long time to get to there, huh?
It took a very I remember watching Dragon Ball Super as it was coming out, and going through everything, because like the first like 2 arcs are just pretty much recap arcs,
Right.
and I was kind of like, I'm just watching this, and then when it got to the Future Saga, I was just kind of like, I mean, it's cool that Vegeto's coming back, but I'm still kind of meh about it. And then when it took forever to get to Ultra Instinct and Tournament of Power, but when that came out, I was like, holy crap! Like this is like this moment, this Ultra Instinct reveal and what he's doing. This is the first time I felt this way about the series since Dragon Ball Z.
Right. And so you know that they still got it. That just proves it. They can still do it.
They don't execute it well.
Exactly. And but there you know that's proof right there. Like whoever is animating it, Toei Animation, or whoever's writing the story, they can still do it if you take your time and listen to the people who love it. You know, just that. It's just that's proof right there. Like that's proof that DBS
Honestly,
could have been great.
I don't know what's going on with it though.
I'm just saying,
because a lot of it was anime first and then manga followed after. So that's probably why they breezed through it in the manga. But I don't know what's going on.
I still don't know what the main goal of Dragon Ball Super is, like overall. You know, because with all the other shonen series that we grew up watching, One Piece is fine. One Piece, Naruto, it's become Hokage, and you know, every other shonen series has kind of like that main underlying goal. And Dragon Ball, I thought was find the Dragon Balls, and then now Dragon.
I mean, it was.
I mean, at this point,
it's like now what do we do?
They're trying to create a big world, and it's like whatever the goal is, just take your time telling the story. This is like the entire thing for this like whole podcast is like take your time. By the way, just to finish off that like fight scene things, one of my favorite fight scenes was the Piccolo Android 17 one. Like that fight scene was just Piccolo's time to shine, and it was just full on, just pounding, just, you know, Piccolo and Android 17 just wailing on each other, and you know, they would go through mountains, they would go through water, and you just like that stuff, just like Piccolo's redemption, you know, like stuff like that. It's a very underrated fight, but they took their time with it. They found an importance for Piccolo to step into this role, and it was great. Okay,
I think the issue to me is that there was more of an importance with the entire Z Fighter team,
right,
to fight, you know, who they were fighting. Like everyone had their moment. Everyone had, during that time, because I kept saying like Goku got cocky, but during that time, you know, Goku kind of saw everyone as equals, if that makes sense.
I see.
You know, like they were all part of this team. Whereas now in Super, to me, it seems more like Goku got very cocky, and Goku has the other Z fighters because he has to have them there, as opposed to him being able to fight by himself. You know, like I guess what makes that stand out to me is during that, like the pre-fight to the Tournament of Power, that smaller tournament where, you know, when Bacon mentioned Piccolo being weaker, that kind of just makes it seem like, oh yeah, Goku feels like he could take everyone on his own, but he just has to let everyone else fight first because, you know, they're also part of the team, but Goku wants to fight everyone.
I do for this podcast want to throw in just my changes, and it'd be 2 changes, I guess, from the top of my head. I honestly was hoping for Frost to be a part, like a new character to be a part of the Z team. I was hoping for that. Like really, like I was like, yo, this Frieza, this Frost guy, I love his design. Yo, like if this is like a cool version of Frieza, this would be a change in dynamic.
I mean, there is a cool version of Frieza.
He's not cooler. I know. It's like,
and I think 8-Bit knows this one for sure. Bring back Raditz.
Just, oh yeah, I want Raditz
like
back.
Just no context, no question. Just if we're gonna bring back characters, bring back Raditz. If we're gonna recycle old characters, Raditz. And
I honestly think they could have done way more with having Raditz than bring back Frieza. But Frieza is like one of those popular villains, I think, overall, like in Japan and in this, like for this series and stuff. I think that's why they brought him back. But I think they could have done more with bringing back Raditz.
Yeah, Bacon, bro. It's like 8-Bit Kevin and I, we argue over text about this all the time. It's like, why the heck did they bring Frieza back? It's like, out of all the characters, Why do you bring Frieza back? And not only
he's a great villain.
All I care about is the fact that Broly is canon. All right, that's all I got from this, and you guys cannot run from this anymore, because in my record book of like Dragon Ball fights, Broly beat Goku 1-on-1, like bar none, and Goku screamed for Vegeta's help, and Vegeta was all tsundere, like, fine, I'll give you my power, and then Goku / Vegeta won.
Oh,
so
the
that
movie,
was Broly's
yeah.
win.
Right.
That was his. And I still emphasize that, like, Broly is a legendary Super Saiyan, and we're not gonna let go of that.
Legend,
right?
man, swear.
And sadly, I haven't seen the Broly movie, but still, he's my
You need
all-time
to
favorite
watch it,
character,
man.
and I'll never.
You're gonna enjoy that movie. You should. Watch
Did they
it.
mention Kevin? Did they mention Broly at all in the manga where you're at?
Who?
Broly. Did they mention
Broly? So after the Tournament of Power arc ends, they show like a brief like page of during this time after the Tournament of Power, Goku and Vegeta fight another person, and they showed the panel of them fighting Broly. So I assume that they didn't. So he's still canonical to the series, and they at least mention it in the manga, but they don't show that entire arc. Or I guess the movie. I guess you just have to watch the movie for it.
I see. I'm not trying to.
But
yes.
Right. I'm not trying.
But during Moro, they don't mention him at all.
Yeah, I'm not trying to dive into like and spoil like all the story. It's like, you know, we definitely have a lot to talk about when it's like, you know, our issues with the series. It saddens me to see the Dragon Ball community fight amongst itself when we're like, man, let's just love this series as it is and just try to make it better.
But the thing is, I feel like you truly love the series if you're willing to acknowledge all of the holes and all of the plot stuff that's going on. And
exactly.
Because you can't just... The blind following is what I don't like. It's like, just admit it. Goku isn't the GOAT anymore at this time of age. Just admit it. There are other characters that now rival Goku. In fact, there's some characters who I think in this next generation probably like hold a stronger place as a character that is someone that we're all able to follow in the anime world, you know? Of course, like,
I just think in general that Super in itself has kind of it's changed a lot about what we know for Dragon Ball, and it's weird because it's like, you know, we had Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball GT for a long time, and everyone shat on Dragon Ball GT for the longest
Which
time.
I don't know why. I would love to have a conversation
But now
with
that we have
someone.
Super...
Right. Go ahead.
Now that we have Super, Dragon Ball GT just... We kind of miss it, you know?
That's a whole nother debate. Like that right there, like Bacon, that sparks a whole just like, you know,
I like
debate.
The GT I like the GT opening, and I don't know why.
Okay, we can't really say that. It's just like you like people. Man, I do not understand the GT hate. I really don't. It's like you have this story that could have been great. It was just not executed to what people liked, I guess.
It's kind of like as if history repeats itself.
But the attitude of Goku in GT in comparison to Super is so different.
Right.
You know? I feel like the GT Goku kind of continued off to what Goku was in Z. You know, he was just this naive kid, but he's also a hero.
Right.
Like he's trying to save something. You know, like the whole thing of GT to me, because like the big thing I remember from GT is the whole baby saga is like Goku's trying to save people.
Right.
You know?
I personally would love to have a conversation with, you know, I guess a competent person who hates GT, and you know, just like really curious because I'm trying to understand why the GT hate is so is like this. I'm just really curious because it's.
I mean, for the Trunks fans out there, we know why we hate it.
For the Trunks fans, no. Can you please enlighten me because I need to be educated about this.
I mean, if we got Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, and he was a total badass.
Heck yeah, dude.
And then we got GT Trunks, and he was kind of a lame
Did you hear
ass.
about there was this kid? There was this kid who had he went through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he wished to have a Yu-Gi-Oh card with a design inspired by Trunks, and it is one of a kind Yu-Gi-Oh card that only belongs to him. It is super cool. That's how much Trunks has affected so much people. In fact,
Trunks is great.
Trunks affected my older brothers growing up, because when Trunks came out, they started copying his hair, and everyone thought it was like the Leonardo DiCaprio hair, but no, they would go like, no, this is Trunks. And I'm like, ooh, you damn right. Leo who? You mean Trunks? Heck yeah, man. Iconic character.
As a kid, it was so cool, because I'm like, how do you make a Super Saiyan even more badass? Let's give him a sword. And I'm like, yeah, let's give him a sword.
No, but also like from storytelling perspectives, you know, there's so much. So the whole Frieza saga with bringing in Vegeta and this enemy destroyer of planets, you know, and then there's this lore of this legendary Super Saiyan, you know, already tension is building. There's a mystery. What does it take to see this Super Saiyan figure that you're talking about, right? And just like, it was all about suspense leading to that moment when Goku transformed, and like that till this day is so iconic.
Yeah, that it's such an iconic
for what Goku had to go through to transform, and we all as fans seeing this.
How much he
What
lost.
is really cool about this is that the only people who've seen this form is Piccolo, Gohan, Frieza, and the fans watching. We saw the Super Saiyan form before Vegeta saw it. Does that make sense? Vegeta had to come back to life to see Goku in Super Saiyan form. We beat Vegeta to the punch. Like, yo, Vegeta, if you come back, you gotta see this. You know what I'm saying? And
that's a good way to put it. I never thought
exactly.
Of it that
so
way.
it's like you build up so much tension for this amazing form, and then the amazing thing about Trunks is that he can do it too, and everyone's like, "What? That guy's probably gone through some shit." You know what I'm saying? And then same goes for Vegeta. Vegeta, he went through some shit too. And that was the thing that about being a Super Saiyan. You had to go through some major shit to become this ultimate being at the time, you know.
But then what did Super do?
I mean, kind of.
Is your back itchy? You're scratching yourself.
Oh, bro. I remember seeing that too. It was such a slap in the face to me. Okay, so but here my opinion on that. But on that specifically, going back to GT, we all saw Goten and Trunks go through it, right? And even Vegeta acknowledges like, wow, the Super Saiyan being of 5,000 or 10,000 years has been reduced to a child's plaything. You know, it's like, but as a viewer, it's cool. I feel like they didn't want to spend too much time with Goten and Trunks going through all that, because I feel like they were everyone knows what a Super Saiyan is, and B, I feel like they had so many plans with Goten and Trunks, and they were just trying to expedite things. Hence, Gotenks. That's why they gave Goten and Trunks the spotlight for the first fusion in Dragon Ball history. They're like, okay, I get that, you know, they're Super Saiyans quick, but we have to introduce fusion, which also changed the whole, you know, Dragon Ball culture. Like, yo, they can fuse. Yo, we can fuse. Oh my God, there's so many combinations. You know, so many fans got so creative at that point, and I was like, oh my God, if Goku and Vegeta fuse, yo, Goku and Vegeta can fuse. You know, I remember as a kid thinking about that, like, yo, who do you think should fuse next?
I think you also have to remember too that, like, I guess this also leads into Super treating Super Saiyan like nothing, but you know, with the amount of powerful enemies there are and how much stronger Goku and Vegeta have gotten, because like by this time we've gotten Super Saiyan Blue, you know, that's why they reduced Super Saiyan to nothing. It's just the first transformation. It's like this old thing, and I think that's kind of something that us as older fans, we kind of take offense to it in a sense that, you know, we got this build up, this iconic transformation scene of Goku going through this rage. He lost so much to get to
and
this point.
We felt it, dude.
You know,
heck yeah.
And you know, the skies were thundering. The world was falling apart, and Goku turned Super Saiyan and fought Vegeta and took him out, and then getting to Super where they reduced it to a tingly back sensation, and you know, it kind of feels like a slap in the face because it's not epic anymore. It's not like
correction,
that.
by the way. Piccolo didn't see it. He was knocked out because he got shot in the chest by Frieza, but he was still alive somehow. He didn't see it. I bet he was like on the ground, like, oh, I feel it, but oh. You know?
So feels the energy in the air.
What I do want to say for DBS is a wise man told me that, Rice, just take DBS as DBS. Don't see it as Z. Don't see it as regular Dragon Ball. See it as DBS. And at that point, it's like, okay, I understand I can't go in with my Dragon Ball Z gung-ho. I have to see this as a series itself. So on that note, that's why I'm able to say that DBS is not a well-executed story. It's just not. Like, I think it is definitely super overrated. You know, that is a punch in the gut for me, because I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. You know,
Yep.
I punch myself in the gut and say Dragon Ball Super is super overrated. I'm sure you guys can come up with top 10 animes that are better than DBS.
I mean, that's
Exactly right there.
Yeah,
see,
right.
And is it bad to say that I want DBS to be a top 10 anime? That's all I want. I'm not trying to say that this is crap, but I'm willing.
Well,
I'm just willing to say it's like I want it to be better. I want it to be great.
Well, the thing is, like, Dragon Ball overall as a franchise, it's still gonna be popular. In general, and I'm okay with that. I mean, deep down, I truly felt that the main reason why Dragon Ball Super even existed was to market Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh,
because I love that fighting game so much, even though I'm a total ass at it. Because I remember when like Dragon Ball Super came out, everyone kept on talking about like, oh yeah, it's back. All of a sudden, like a year or two later, I saw the preview to Dragon Ball Fighters, and like it was basically this like, you know, the style of Capcom and stuff like that, where like you have 3 characters. And I'll tell you right now, like, almost like, you know, weekly, I'm looking up Dragon Ball Fighters like videos and stuff like that, because as much as now that I know how to, whenever I get into a video game, whenever I understand it really well, I look up like high level plays and high level, like, you know, world ranking players like play each other, and then I understand why what they're doing is so crazy. And dude, there is some Dragon Ball Fighters moments that had me like feeling as if I was watching Dragon Ball Z again, where I'm just clenching and I'm like, no way is this happening, no way, and you just hear the crowd back go, yeah. Like there's some ones I want to link you guys, like there's one where like Goichi, who's like my favorite Dragon Ball Fighters like player, was versing, I think he was versing Kazunoko or another dude who was like number 2 in Japan, and they were doing a best of 3, and like, you know, it was like 1-1, right as the next match started, both players did the exact same inputs hit for hit, and it canceled everything, like ching 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 ching. And both assists came in, and they both had the same assist, which was Cell, and both cells came in and clashed, and then everyone was like, oh, and then they were like, dude, like, these two are 2 professionals that play each other so often that they knew exactly how to play each other, and they both reacted the same. It was like,
wow.
Yo. So like, I love, that's why I started playing the game, and in my mind, like, when they started releasing Dragon Ball Super characters, like they end up giving us Jiren
Hit, right?
Yeah, Jiren Hit is like a crazy character, and like I was like, wait a minute, is the main point of Super to market this game? Because they did a good job, and then they have the Kakarot game. Remember the Kakarot commercial too? See that? Like,
it was sick commercials.
Yeah, and they're still doing a great job at knowing, they still are aware that this is a huge series.
Bring back Budokai and Tenkaichi.
But
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, I say bring those back if you want us to stay engaged with this franchise, because if you were to talk about the anime around me, I'm just like, that's really not on my list of priorities. My priority is either get better at Fighters, or watch highlights of Fighters, or end up playing Kakarot, you know? That's what I want my attention to Dragon Ball to go to, other than the manga and anime. So it's still a very alive and well franchise, but the anime to me is kind of like, it exists, but that's not on my list of things I need to get to.
Right,
Trust
exactly.
me, you know?
But and I'm saying I want it to be a priority on your list. Is that bad for me? Is that bad for me to ask? You know, it's like,
I mean, as
it's just they need to prove it to me. You need to
exactly, and that's it.
Yeah, and as as old head fans, like, we could totally just ignore Super entirely and just, because Super in itself came later, so that doesn't necessarily ruin what Z offered for us. So if you want to just pay attention to the original series of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, then yeah, you can stick to that. And I kind of feel like if you've gotten to this point of the podcast, from an unbiased perspective of, I mean, as much as we can be, for being old-time Dragon Ball fans for our generation, we're coming at Dragon Ball Super not as like, oh, the new stuff sucks.
Exactly.
Like the old stuff is so much better. We're not coming at it from that angle.
Exactly.
We're just coming at it from like, this actually just really
preach,
isn't that
bro.
good.
Exactly.
Right.
On it. Exactly.
And
I just don't want people to mix that up.
And we have the experience of what makes an anime great. We're not like kids where it's like, I can imagine maybe some kids who may have watched Dragon Ball Super without watching all the other Dragon Ball series and just went, wait, this is what all you guys are ranting about? This is awful. You know what I mean? And the thing is like, no, you don't understand. When we were kids, we watched it like this. And it's like, well, I don't want to watch the old stuff now because if this is bad, that means the older stuff might be even worse than this, you old fart. And it's like, no. But that's the thing now. It's like there's such a huge disconnect about what we mean by this was an amazing series.
Right.
Versus, no, we're just being nostalgic. Oh, back in my day, running home from school to watch Toonami. Like, as much as we sound like that, we're being genuine because those feelings we had didn't disappear. And those feelings we had when we watched those moments weren't fake. We legit felt like that, and
as old fans, when Super did get announced, we were all really excited that it was coming back. We were all saying like, oh man, GT, that's not canon anymore, and Super is canon.
We're getting a revamp.
We're really excited. Yeah, we're really excited for what they're gonna do. Like, we weren't like, oh man, they're bringing it back. Like, we weren't like disgusted by it, because like, how sometimes people, like, when there are reboots or continuations, people are like, oh man, they didn't need to bring it back, but we were really excited for it.
On point, dude.
But we're just disappointed.
Yeah, and to talk about things that we never asked for, Dragon Ball Evolution. Let's talk about that first of all.
Oh my god.
Wait, no, actually,
to this day, I still haven't actually watched it.
Do we have to waste our breath on that one? Because I don't even talk about The Last Airbender with M. Night Shyamalan.
It's so funny because I feel like I was such a contrarian growing up because I always knew that things weren't going to be as good as what everyone's talking about, because I always like to wait and sit back, and then when the hype comes in, I'm like, okay, you guys might be right. And I remember you guys invited me out to see like Dragon Ball Evolution.
I was there with you.
Nah.
Oh heck yeah. Oh,
I was like, nah.
8-bit. Wait, did you go watch it with us, by the way?
No, I never.
Okay,
So
hear me out, 8-bit. So I will preach this. I will toot my own horn about being a Dragon Ball fan. I went to the movies and watched that movie with Bacon and
no, I didn't. I wasn't there with you.
It wasn't you with you? Okay, I'm sorry.
I have never. I think you went with.
I remember.
MJ.
Sorry. I went with Ryan, but someone. I thought there was someone else. But anyways, I went with Ryan. And I remember one of the buddies mid movie said, "Hey, do you want to get out of here?" Like.
Was that Nick?
I don't know, but it's somebody. Like, just let's just say it's just somebody. But somebody in the group said, "Hey, do you want to leave this movie because this movie's not doing so great?" I looked at the screen and just like, "Hey man, I have to stay. I have to endure the pain." Like,
oh, I didn't know you were such a masochist.
I guess so, but it's like I was just hoping for just something good to come out of it, And that's how I felt about Super. And to be fair, I do believe the Tournament of Power was a step in somewhat of the right direction. I definitely agree.
They still kind of dropped the ball.
Yeah. So, but
you guys like tournament arcs, right? Here you go.
No, as far as not just a tournament arc, just executing the tournament arc. It was a step in somewhat of a better digestible direction.
I mean, something good that came out of some good stuff that came out of the Tournament of Power were those key moments, the Kamehameha, the Ultra Instinct. So other things I thought were nice were like, they highlighted Android 17.
Who thought of the surfing Kamehameha? Who thought about that? The Kamehameha riding?
I have no idea. But that was great.
Whoever, no one came. I don't know. I didn't come up with that. No one came up with that. But whoever wrote that, Harry, keep him. Keep that guy.
Let's make it fun. Let's not make it all about like balls to the wall craziness. Let's make it fun.
That was exactly. It was fun. It was creative, and it was badass. It was like that's all you.
And it made you feel like Goku was Goku.
Exactly, and it was fresh. Exactly, and it shows Goku's creativity on the battlefield. God, on point. Seriously.
Like when Goku gets into it, when he gets into his moments, you start to see Goku again for what he was back in Z. But outside of those moments, he's very disappointing.
Yeah.
So,
for the record, I haven't watched a single. Like I've watched like the first 5 minutes of Evolution, and
it's still is that still part of the conversation?
Well, like I just had to mention my experience with it because I didn't experience it, and I think I made the right choice even back then when you guys were like, "Hey, you want to go see Dragon Ball Evolution?" I was just like, "I'm gonna pass." I don't think no.
Gosh.
And same with The Last Airbender. I was like, "No, I think I'll let you guys watch this." And then when I heard the criticism, I was like, "See, I knew it. I knew something didn't feel right. Like I felt it in the air. Like there's no way it's gonna work out." And when I saw it on TV, I'm like, "All right, let's try." First 5 minutes, like he's like bouncing on those ropes, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I don't like this."
I guess we can dive into just it's also tough too because you're making a live action anime, and this this anime is a big scale
if you want to
emulate.
Check out our live action talk on this podcast, check out our live action Bacon Bits episode.
But that's definitely a separate dive. It's on a grand scale, and I'm sure that whoever wanted this project and taken on an anime as grand as Dragon Ball just didn't understand what it had to really take.
I mean, most people that take on animated properties to turn to live action have no idea what they're doing with it. So
I do want to say this for sure.
That changes with the
is
culture.
that for the dub fans out there, for dub specifically, I hated the dub for Super. I really hated it. Yes, really? I want to throw it out there. I hated it. Reason being is I feel like, I'm not going to name drop any voice actors, but I feel like
we all know their
besides names. Krillin, good job. But all the other voice actors, I feel actually, and Android 17, I was on point, bro. Android 17 was on point, and Gohan. Hopefully that eliminates to what voice actors I'm talking about.
I mean, don't worry, the voice actors are for sure gonna hear this.
Oh, for sure, I can't wait. But it's like honestly, I feel like they're not acting anymore. They're just voice.
Where's my paycheck?
They're just exactly on point. But for Z, you felt every anguish. You felt it when you felt Vegeta cry when he was begging for Goku to defeat Frieza. You felt that. I hope they do something of that caliber on Vegeta's come up in this against Moro.
I mean, I think it goes with the whole what Bacon mentioned a lot earlier was that there are no stakes.
Yeah. With
the Tournament of Power, with that being the most current large arc that happened in the anime, the stakes that were involved were that the losing universes were going to get erased. However, you always knew in the end that with the Super Dragon Balls that they were going to bring them back.
That is true.
I think just in general, the issue with Dragon Ball as a series, but they abuse it a lot more in Super, is that, the Dragon Balls are a safety net. So a lot of the times, and Senzu Beans, a lot of the times in Super, at least when I was watching and reading it, is that if anything happens, don't worry, we got the Dragon Balls. Don't worry, we got Senzu Beans here. Don't worry, the Super there's nothing actually at stake.
What you're saying. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that's why I'm never tense whenever I see a fight.
Right.
Like you could do as many of those blue ball cliffhangers as you want. Is Goku gonna make it out of this? Not probably. It's just I think we're gonna be fine,
that's kind of goes to say about Naruto, right? Is Naruto gonna be okay? Of course he is. The title of the damn show. But
the difference between Naruto and Dragon Ball is that with at least Naruto, there's not really anything to there's the revival jutsu, but they're only temporary. They don't actually come back to life.
I mean,
Dragon Ball.
I mean, the pain arc would like to speak to you.
Okay, but outside of that, in the normality of Naruto, there's nothing there to say like, hey, like this person there, let's just bring them back.
Right.
With Dragon Ball, like you can do that.
I see what you're saying. By the way, Neji is still alive. Neji is still alive. So I just want to throw it out there.
Sure. Sure. If that's what you want to believe.
Yeah. I mean, let's watch the opening.
He's out of the opening.
But I see what you mean. Maybe that's a route that Dragon Ball could go down, is like create that.
Like what if they legit killed off Goku?
Nah, that's a little too much.
Well,
that's a little too much.
What I think would be like, what I think would be a big like at stake thing is like, if not retrieving the Dragon Balls, but there's an enemy out there that wants to actually destroy the Dragon Balls.
I see.
Instead of collecting them.
Succeeds. And then it's
they don't have the safety net anymore.
Don't you feel like Goku is also kind of a safety net in himself as well? That's why going into the Android saga with Goku on the heart virus, like that was great storytelling. Like, oh shit, like what are we gonna do? And then seeing future Gohan step into his dad's clothes, like, oh shit, let's go.
Yeah, dude. See, that's why that was great. Like, it's that feeling of like, oh man, like no matter what, Goku's got this. Then he's gone, and then you got like Captain America coming in, like you just lost Earth's greatest defender. It's like, oh no, we did, dude. And just like that's when it gets tense. Like, who's gonna step forward? And that's how you really fall in love with those other characters, because me, I'm the kind of guy that likes to keep an eye on other side characters. Like, hey, he's gonna make an impact, and if he doesn't make an impact, he's gonna at least give us enough headroom to where the main character be like, dude, without you, we would have been done.
Right.
And I love those moments. Like, come on, like Hinata when Naruto was in trouble in the pain arc. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, this is what I live for, man. And like, like those moments I love the most. But when Dragon Ball, it's like, if Goku just exists, all of you guys could just sit on the bench and chill.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying like the rest of the Z fighters are just kind of there.
Yeah, it's not even the Z fighters anymore. It's just Goku and Vegeta. And
yeah, it really is.
Like, come on, like, dude. And that's the thing, like,
it really is.
I know we joke about Yamcha, but I'll tell you right now, Yamcha is a top tier character in fighters. But the thing is, it's like, I want to see growth out of everyone. That's all I want.
I agree.
And that's why One Piece is so good. One Piece is so great because everyone grows.
I feel like we were shafted too with Majin Buu not being in the tournament arc. That's a whole nother. That's another.
Dude, he still gets shafted.
That's a whole nother dive.
Like, he still doesn't do much.
Right.
But anyway, let's do some closing thoughts. Jay or Rice, do you have closing thoughts?
I just, again, 8-Bit said on point. It's like, we're not coming at it hating on new Dragon Ball stuff. We love everything Dragon Ball. So for me, specifically as a fan, I just want it to be good. I just want it to be compelling. I want it to be complete. It doesn't even take a lot of effort for me. Dive into something. Dive into the animation. Dive into the art. Dive into the dialogue. Pick one. Let me hang on to something that is of diamond quality like that. Don't half-ass it. The common argument, or no, sorry, the most I guess the common argument I have with Naruto fans is that you're coming out with weekly episodes, but Naruto did that too, and what they did was they sacrificed, I guess, art style or some art, but as they were coming out with episodes, but they did not ruin the flow of the animation. They did not ruin the flow of the story. They took a sacrifice and balled out with what they had. That's it. And I just want to be able to show this to my kids and again have pride for being a Dragon Ball fan. Because
Super doesn't exist.
What's up?
Just tell them Super doesn't exist.
I can't. The reason why I can't do that is because it does. We can't. We have to acknowledge that it does exist. It's like, because
you'd be lying.
No,
to them.
it's the.
Don't look at him.
I know, but I see it as there will be a lot of people who will probably be introduced to Dragon Ball through DBS, and they will probably come up saying that DBS is probably the greatest. Think about it this way. a lot of people right now hate the Star Wars movies. But there are a lot of kids right now who are probably going to be exposed to Star Wars, to that recent trilogy, and think that is amazing.
Right.
So
I see.
so think about
Sure.
it. So we have to accept Dragon Ball, whatever form, as it is, and just we have to keep supporting it. And I mean, it's I know it's a big corporation, but it's just hope that it is great and is going to be able to be passed down as time goes down. You know, it just that's really all I ask for. It's.
I mean, what they did with the Broly movie, I hope they do more with the rest of the series.
Like I said, like you guys said, they can do it.
Yeah, but that's really on what Bacon said. You know, just you guys have been on point for everything. It's just take your time, and that's just make it something that people are gonna love. You know, as in 100 years, in 500 years. You know, I want the next time space capsule to have something Dragon Ball included, or maybe the next space capsule that is thrown into space that is showing like what collections of like human memorabilia and just things that symbolize the human culture. I want Dragon Ball to be a part of that, man. You know, ain't that really cool? It's like
they open it. Huh? What's this? Oh, the aliens. They open it. What's this? Dragon Ball Evolution.
And boom, a whole nother fucking planet is watching Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit. By the way, I know we're on closing remarks, but I just really quick. There was this one time. I was volunteering at I guess English as a second language, kind of like section at like school at the college.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah,
story.
and it was like a bunch of just foreign exchange students that came to just learn English, and you would get a lot of people from all around the world. But anyways, I volunteered there, and because I was just helping them speak English, and what we would get would be like this checklist of what to talk about, I guess, to break the ice among everybody. And it was really cool. I had one guy, I would like to say he was from South Africa. There was two guys from Vietnam, and there was one guy from Mexico. And we were not talking. No one was talking. And as I was going down the checklist, and it was such a systematic, anyways, it was terrible. Upon slightly giving up, I checked my phone, and I turned on my phone. And at that time, there was a picture of Super Saiyan Goku on my Android Galaxy 2 phone, and they all saw it, and immediately the two Vietnamese kids were like, Son Goku? Kid from Mexico, Goku? Guy from South Africa, Son Goku? All of them just like, we were looking, we all were like, yo, Goku, Dragon Ball, and we started being the loudest group in the room. Just, that was such an amazing feeling to experience, just like, we have nothing in common, but Dragon Ball? How did you guys watch Dragon Ball? That is shit right there. Have you guys seen the YouTube videos of I would like to say there was this video in Mexico. Everyone was watching the Tournament of Power. There was this like part. Yeah, there was this part dedicating to watching the Tournament of Power.
Everyone was watching it outside.
Yeah, and then when Goku was kicking ass, you heard the crowd just go crazy. And you just get chills watching the video. It was like the first time, I would like to say it almost rivaled Captain America grabbing Thor's hammer for the first time. And everyone just went berserk. That's all I want. That is all I want from Dragon Ball.
I remember like going up to the fight when it was Goku versus Jiren. They were putting up posters all over their city as if it was like a boxing match.
That is so sick.
Yeah, I remember that
like
too.
This Saturday night, Goku takes on Jiren, and everyone's like,
I remember that. That was really dope.
Yeah. So see, those moments are what we do live for. Like that's great, you know.
Your closing remarks, Bacon, since you're already speaking.
I'd probably say there is a lot more that I know that Dragon Ball Super can do. And I, of course, don't want them to treat it so much as like a business, even though that's the direction that every animation studio is kind of under now, where it's like you have a deadline, we need to make this so that either A, we get our paychecks, or B, we make everyone happy. And in the end, I know a lot of people aren't going to be happy, but all I ask for them is, if you guys are at one point in time, and this is kind of me coming from just all anime series are running long now. If you're gonna get to a point where you're going to end it, I say try to end it in a proper way, to where we could look back and say, man, that really was a
Heck
journey.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And because
Okay.
I think that's what I want more from a lot of anime series is, I know you guys are flexing at how long this is going, generations, and how everyone loves it, but I think it's time now where we need to legitimately end a series so that we could open up new ideas to what could be the next generation of, this is the next shonen story kind of deal.
Okay.
And I don't like seeing an anime series be squeezed out for everything it has, So
Yeah.
so that's all I want from it is a proper ending to where I can just sit back and be like, dude, because when Dragon Ball, technically Dragon Ball GT, when Dragon Ball ended way back then on Toonami, and you see like the characters in the tattered clothes of their father and all that stuff, like when that ended, I legit just sat in my room just thinking like, if that's it, then what's next? And that feeling of what's next is like kind of that adventurous feeling, like, dude, there's gonna be something else beyond this that'll probably take over my mind. So that's what I
You're
want.
still
truly.
hooked. Exactly.
Right.
I guess I'll do mine. I guess what I'm on the same page as you guys. I want it done right, and I just want to make sure it's something that we all enjoy, because it's something that's like, it means a lot to us. We grew up with it, and we want to make sure that it's still continuing what we had. Then again, like, we could kind of just rewatch Z and it'll still give us the same feelings, and kind of not necessarily ignore Super, but just it won't ruin what we have with Z. Though what I want from Super is, I would love for Toriyama, if he's writing this stuff, or whoever is writing it or doing all this stuff, that I want them to do with Goku and the other characters what they're doing with Vegeta.
Oh, okay.
Vegeta is a compelling character now. He's being well written. He has motivations. He has, deeper meaning to what he says and what he does, all his actions. Whereas I feel like Goku kind of went from a multifaceted character to just just face value. This is what you get. Goku kind of lost his dimension and became a one-dimensional character. A lot of the other characters fell to the background, and you don't really get much out of them. You know, that's all I really want. If they're gonna continue this, I want them to treat every character like they have dimension, and not just, I'm a background character, or all I really want is to fight someone strong, because that's really lazy. So, yeah, I guess in conclusion, stand Vegeta. But yeah, that's all I really want. I just want development, like actual development for each character. But that's all I really have to say on my end.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to go play fighters again, even though I'm total booty.
So I guess with that being said, make sure y'all follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and whatever social media is. 8-Bit Kevin, Ton of Bacon, and YoGimmeRice.
Awesome,
just look for our social medias if you're watching on YouTube down in the bottom. Otherwise, if you're listening on Spotify, I can't really link you guys, so you're just gonna have to look for us on your own.
Check out our other episodes.
Definitely check out our other episodes. There's some other stuff about Gintama, live actions, and whatnot, and we'll keep figuring out some other topics to come up to talk about. If you're watching on YouTube again, or if you're listening on Spotify, comment on the bottom, or add us on Twitter and stuff, and
Rice,
let us know what you want us to talk about.
Pick Gintama back up. It's so good.
Yeah, dude.
It's so
and then we'll
good.
come back and talk about it.
We'll put more Gintama episodes out.
Yeah, I'll be game. Thanks for having me on, by the way. This was really cool.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, well. All right, guys. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Bye.